Hey fam, can I be honest with you about something? Some of y'all are praying for peace while still being entertained by things that destroy it. And I'm not even saying this to judge anybody. I'm saying it because a lot of people don't realize how much of what they watch and what they listen to shapes what feels normal to them. Some of us say we want something real. You say you want honesty, consistency, clarity, all that, a relationship that actually feels safe. But every day your mind is being fed betrayal, manipulation, cheating, mind games, things like that, instability. I mean, think about it. Those reality shows, housewives, love after lockup, cheaters, all those things. But after a while, your spirit starts getting used to that kind of dysfunction. And that's the dangerous part because you can pray for healthy love and still feel uncomfortable when it finally shows up. And that's the truth. And this is bigger than dating. This is spiritual too, because the enemy does not always destroy people through obvious sin. Sometimes he slowly trains your appetite, or shall I say, flesh. Little by little until confusion starts to feel normal and peace starts feeling boring. That's why the Bible says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Now, most people hear that verse and think it just means protect your feelings, but it's deeper than that. Your heart is where things settle. It's where influence sits. What constantly enters your spirit, eventually it starts shaping how you think, how you move, what you'll tolerate, and what you become. That's why you have to be careful about what's feeding your mind, because repetition is powerful. If somebody hears confusion long enough, they'll eventually start mistaking confusion for passion. If somebody watches manipulation long enough, they'll start calling confusion chemistry. And now healthy things feel strange to you because dysfunction became familiar. That's why some people get bored with consistency. Not because consistency is bad, because they've been emotionally trained to only feel something when there's instability attached. And listen, that's dangerous. Because now you're not choosing what's healthy, you're choosing what's familiar. That's two different things. And honestly, that's what happened with Samson. You see, everybody talked about Samson like he was just weak over Delilah. No, Samson's problem started way before Delilah. His issue was that he kept entertaining things God already warned him about. He kept getting close to danger because he liked how it felt. I remember when I was a teenager, the pastor said, if it feels good, it's a sin. Yeah, it sounds funny, but it's the truth. That's the part, that's the part people will skip over because sometimes what destroys you doesn't come looking dangerous. Sometimes it feels exciting. Sometimes it feels intense. And sometimes it's emotionally addictive. And if you're not spiritually grounded, adrenaline can start feeling like love. That's why some people keep going back to relationships that drain them. Not because they don't see the red flags, they see them, but confusion became connected to the excitement. So now peace feels empty. Clarity feels skeptical, and consistency feels too simple. And that right there is kind of heartbreaking because some of y'all are rejecting what you prayed for simply because it doesn't give you that emotional roller coaster you used to. That's why Romans 12:2 says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The renewing of your mind matters because your mind can be trained. Your flesh can be trained. Your expectations can be trained. And if you keep feeding yourself places where toxicity is romanticized, eventually your discernment will get weaker. Now red flags start looking attractive. Now acting all over the place gets excused instead of being called immature. And now when God tries to warn you, you call it overthinking. See, some of y'all don't need another relationship right now. You need healing in what excites you. Because healing is not just learning who to stop entertaining. Healing is also learning that peace is not boring. Real love is not confusing. Real love doesn't keep you anxious every day. Real love communicates. Real love brings clarity. And real love does not keep making you question your worth. And I think that's one of the saddest things happening right now. Some people have been surrounded by dysfunction for so long, they don't recognize peace when they see it. And you know what? I need y'all to hear me clearly right here. God is not just trying to change who's around you. He's trying to change what feels normal to you. Because until your appetite changes, you'll keep calling dysfunction love. All right, family, if this message has put something in your spirit, let me know something in the comments. And until next time, keep your head up, your hands up, and let it resonate.